and welcome to Witchy season here at the Wayne County Public Library. You may have noticed that there are a lot more romance books coming out in the past couple of years that feature witches, and so Kimberly and I thought we would share a few of them with you. So I'll go ahead and start with the book Boss Witch by Aguirre. It's the second book in the Fix-It Witches series, so it's a contemporary. It features Clementine Waterhouse, who's a very practical, no-nonsense, always has to be in control kind of person who comes from a witch family. And this is a society in which witches try to stay under the radar. You know, if their power gets out of control, then they risk being hunted down by witch hunters. And in the first book, that's what happened. Somebody's power got out of control and a witch hunter came to town. So Clementine is going to try and head this witch hunter off. Now, that witch hunter is Gavin Reese, and he comes from a witch hunting family, but he hates it. He doesn't want to do it, but he's kind of forced to by his dad. And he's been sent to this town to check out this strange activity. Well, the two of them meet, and, you know, Clementine knows who he is, but he doesn't know who she is right off the bat. So she's trying to distract him from what's going on in town, and sparks kind of fly between them. There's an attraction. But the problem is both of them come with some serious family baggage, and so they've got to work through a fair amount before they get to their happily ever after. But it's a real fun book, and like I said, it's second in the series, and the third book comes out this fall. It's called Extra Witchy, which sounds good to me. How about you, Kimberly?
That does sound like a good book. Well, I'm going to tell you about a book that also has some family issues you'll discover if you read it. It's called Ex Hex by Erin Sterling, who, by the way, is actually Rachel Hawkins, if you're familiar with any of her work.
Yeah.
Our main characters start off the book with a little bit of a strange event. Vivienne accidentally curses her sort of boyfriend at the time, Reese. She curses him because she finds out, after they've been having a relationship for 3 months, that he's going home to meet his betrothed. Uh-oh, not so good. So several years pass, and Vivienne lives in this adorable little town called Graves Glen, which is in Georgia. And it's a magical town. The whole town has a buzzing magic to it. And that's caused by these ley lines that travel underneath the town. Well, Reese's family helped found this town. And his father, Simon, goes to him and tells him, you have to go charge these lines because the magic has to be recharged every so many years. So he reluctantly goes back. Well, sort of reluctantly, but sort of, I wonder if I'll run into her again. So as he comes back into town, all of a sudden the curse takes effect and all these things start happening. One of the things that happens is his car goes off the road, and pretty soon he sees somebody coming and stops them so he can get a ride or some help getting his car back on the road. And he finds out it's Vivienne. And she's not real happy to see him at first. So these two together will have to figure out how to get rid of the curse, as she discovers, well, I probably shouldn't have cursed him, and it was completely an accident, even if I had a little vodka and mixed some magic with it, which is not recommended by anyone. So these two set out to do away with the curse, and they end up dealing with a rather interesting ghost along the way. So I would definitely recommend this book, Ex Hex.
Wow, that does sound like it's just ripe with comedy and adventure. Okay. Well, my next book is Not the Witch You Wed by April Asher. It's the first book in the Supernatural Single series. So in this family, we have another witchy family. And the oldest of 3 witch sisters is Violet Maxwell. Now, she should be kind of the leader of her generation since she's the firstborn, but her magic has never sparked. So she's kind of like, okay, fine, I'm just going to live kind of a normal life then. And at some big event for their community, she ends up having this meet cute with Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome, who then turns out to be the guy who broke her heart when she was a teenager, Lincoln Thorne, who's an alpha wolf shifter. So, because of their position in their respective families and communities, they're both forced by supernatural laws to find a mate, but neither of them wants to. So, instead, they decide they're going to fake date to get everybody off their back. Thing is, the feelings that they have with each other spark Violet's magic. Things go kind of wild. They're still attracted to each other, and there's just a lot going on. But it's a real fun, wild ride until they get everything sorted out for the ending. So that's my second one.
My second one is geared towards the older YA crowd, and it is called Improbable Magic for Cynical Witches by Kate Scelsa. This is a sapphiric romance. Our main character's name is Eleanor. She lives in Salem, Massachusetts, and Salem is a character in this book. Mm-hmm. It is so well written. Eleanor's mother has Lyme disease and can't work, so Eleanor works at a tourist shop in Salem selling all kinds of touristy type things. Eleanor's kind of the one that everybody ignores or looks weird at school. Her friend / first girlfriend passed away the year before, and people wonder how much she had to do with it. So she's dealing with these issues. She has a lot of guilt and I would say probably some depression about it. One day while she's working at the tourist shop, she gets this handwritten guide to the tarot delivered to her. Now she has no idea who this is from, why she got it, or anything else. All of a sudden, this young lady named Pix comes in, introduces herself, tells her she's a witch, and asks for a detailed map of Salem. Eleanor sells her one, and Pix asks her to come to her coven meeting with her. Now this book, instead of being supernatural magic, is geared more towards the Wiccan end of magic. But Eleanor slowly starts to fall for Pix while dealing with her feelings from her previous girlfriend's passing away. There's a lot of emotion in this book, and there's also some good feelings towards the end. So I would recommend it to older teens. There's a little bit of drug use in it, but other than that, it's a good book for older teens, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, that sounds like a good one too. Well, my last one is actually a historical, and you don't often see witches in a historical romance because there's a lot of bad history for witches in history. So this one is actually from a really fun, kind of over-the-top, bonkers kind of series. This book is The League of Gentlewomen Witches by India Holton, and it's from the Dangerous Damsels series, which sounds like fun. So in this one, our main character is Charlotte Pettifer, and she's a very proper sort of witch. And don't call her a witch. She doesn't want to be called one, even though she is one. She wants to use her magic to manipulate things to make them more proper, because this is Victorian society, you know. We're very civilized witches. And since she's a very strong-minded young woman, she's probably going to be the future leader of this League of Gentlewomen Witches. And she's determined to keep the people in the League safe and to keep their heritage safe. So they've recently discovered that this long-lost talisman, an amulet of the Great Witch Black Beryl, has been discovered again. And she wants to make sure that it's safe. It's in a museum, and well, you know, museums aren't always the safest place because somebody might be tempted to rob them. And surprise, surprise, somebody does want to rob them. That would be Alex O'Reilly, who's a pirate, a rogue, a rapscallion, and an all-around devilish good time, apparently. He wants it as well. And then there's a host of other miscreants who get in on this, you know, kind of tag and release with this amulet. And so Charlotte and Alex end up having to work together to make sure nobody else gets it. All the time they're fighting, trying to take it back from each other, trying to prove, no, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. The fighting, the banter, the underlying attraction, it's just hilarious. Of course, things turn out well by the end, but I won't tell you how they get there. It's a wild ride. You just have to buckle up and start reading to enjoy it. So that's what I've got.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
We've definitely got a lot of good selections for witchy season this year, or, you know, your cozy fall vibes, whatever you want. And I'm pretty sure there are going to be some more witchy romances coming out in the next year. We've been talking about some of the new releases coming out next year, early on, so might have to do this again next year to share some new titles with people.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a witchy, wonderful day.
Take care.